Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to discuss a great Major League Baseball betting strategy called the snapped winning streak. Basically, I'm going to answer the following question. When a team wins several games in a row before finally losing one, how do they tend to react in their following game? I'm going to answer this question via a thorough statistical study which relies on a dataset containing all games from 7 full seasons. So in total, we have over 17,000 games in the dataset. The rationale behind this investigation is as follows. When a team wins several games in a row, the betting public starts noticing it. Once they lose a game, most people expect them to be upset and to rebound in a big way. As a contrarian, I tend to do the opposite. I've often witnessed good teams go on a good run, and it seems like when the winning streak finally gets snapped, they tend to lose it and get flustered. But why not verify this hypothesis scientifically by exploring past data? Let's start with a very basic exploration of the data. Suppose a team that I'm going to call Team A goes on a winning streak of length X before finally losing a game. Now let's pretend we had placed $1 bets in their following game. Well, what would have been the results from using this gambling strategy over the 2010 to 2016 regular season?
Alright, so let's look at the results both from betting Team A or fading Team A, where fading means betting against Team A. And in each case, we look at the number of bets that we won, the number of bets that we lost, and the overall profit that we made from placing $1 bets. Now each row from this table corresponds to a specific length of winning streak, of Team A's winning streak. So I considered values 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 plus. Okay, let's focus on the first row here. So a length of 3. So just to make sure things are clear to you, so this means Team A won, so they won 3 straight games before finally losing one. And then the question was, in the following game, should we bet Team A or should we fade Team A? Well, if you look at the numbers in the first row, here when betting Team A, you would have won 501 bets and lost 522 for an overall profit of minus 42.81 cents. So it did pretty badly. Now if you look at the last 3 columns right here, well, obviously the win-loss record is flipped since we are now betting against Team A, and this time the profit was close to 0. We lost about $3. Okay, now look at the very last row in this table, the row called total. Well, according to my early intuition, it seems like fading Team A is a better option than betting them, as shown by the overall losses. So you can look at these numbers. We lost approximately $90 when betting Team A, and we lost close to $12 only when fading Team A. So that's the first good news because it fits with my original intuition. Okay, stay calm though, because neither of these options still provides a positive profit. We are still in the red. Alright, so now here's something important. So basically, I'm looking for a strategy that's going to work whenever the length of the winning streak was X or more. So I want to bet when the winning streak was big, but we still need to determine what big mean. What's a big or a long winning streak? Okay, so focus on the profit numbers when betting Team A. As you can see, there are only two cases where we made money, when the length was 6 or 9. So there's nothing that's really good from this column. We lost across the board, basically. However, when fading Team A, this is when it gets interesting. So focus on the last column. Well, we lost money when the length was 3 or 4. But if we focus on a length of 5 or more, we are making some money. As a matter of fact, if you add those numbers up, you get plus $18.49. And that's on 536 games. Now, if you want to calculate the ROI, the return on investment, simply divide the first number by the second, and you get a ROI of 3.4%, which may not seem super high, but it's based on a very large sample size, so that's pretty impressive. And we do have our first potential viable strategy. But we will keep digging a little deeper and see if there are other factors that might influence the outcome. So keep watching.
Scheduling in Major League Baseball is such that teams often play the same opponent for 3 or 4 game series. Now, do the results presented earlier change depending on whether Team A faces the same team again after losing to them, or plays a different team?
Let's look at what happens when betting or fading Team A when they are facing the same team as the day before, or when they are facing a different team. So let me make sure that things are clear. So recall that Team A won many straight games, let's say 4 straight games. Then they finally lost one, and we are betting on the following game. So when I'm talking about facing the same or a different team, I'm talking about these two opponents. Okay, so let me summarize what's important in these two tables. So supporting Team A is a bad idea in both cases, and no matter the winning streak's length. So there does not seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel in the case of betting Team A. It's just a bad idea. Now, fading Team A seems to work better when facing a different team. Look here, we lost $17 when facing the same team compared to a $5.47 profit when facing a different team. But recall the strategy number 1 that I described earlier. It said that we need to fade Team A when the length of the winning streak was 5 or more. So what was the performance of the system as a function of whether we're facing the same team or a different team? Well, let's have a look. So if you add all of these profit numbers when facing the same team, you get a profit of $6.12, even though overall we lost 17 bucks. But when the winning streak was of length 5 or more, we did make a profit. So that's great. And when facing a different team, when the winning streak's length was 5 or more, the profit was $2.37. So in other words, the system was profitable under both cases.
Yes!
So that's great, but we'll keep digging and make sure that this is a good strategy in the next few sections, so bear with me.
Let's now have a look at the road-home split, which means we want to check if the results vary depending on whether Team A is the road or the home team.
Okay, from now on, I'm going to completely disregard the case where we are betting Team A. Okay, so far we've seen that it just seems like a bad idea. So let's just focus on fading Team A through the rest of this video. Okay, so I said I was going to investigate the road-home split. So first, let's see what happens when Team A was the road team. And if you focus on the very last column, with the profit numbers, you'll see something great. So we've lost quite a big chunk of money when the length was 3 or 4, which leaves a nice profit when the length of the winning streak was 5 or more, and which fits exactly with what we saw earlier. So you are left here with a profit of $22.06 over 281 games. So the ROI, which can be obtained by dividing 2206 by 281 games, is 7.9%. And recall how strategy number 1 had a ROI of 3.4. So we've more than doubled the ROI, which is very great. So I'm going to call this strategy number 2. So let me recap what it means. It says that you need to fade Team A when its winning streak was of length 5 or more, but only if Team A is the road team. So we are betting the home team. Let's now turn our attention to the situation where Team A plays in front of its home crowd after seeing its winning streak getting snapped in their previous game. So even though wagering against Team A led to a slight overall profit, $1.22, this strategy did not do very well when considering only cases where the streak's length was 5 or more. If you add these profit numbers together, you obtain a loss of $3.56. Therefore, all signs point towards restricting our plays to cases where Team A was on the road, which means we are putting our money on the home team.
Let's recap the 2 strategies that we have retained thus far. Strategy number 1, fading Team A when the length of its snapped winning streak was 5 or more. Strategy number 2 is exactly the same, except that you also want Team A to be playing on the road. Let's now take a look at the odds split. Do certain sets of odds or money lines provide situations that are more profitable? Or generally speaking, should we focus more on favorites or underdogs?
Let's break down the first strategy's results by odds. So recall that the first strategy was the following: fading Team A, which means betting against Team A, if the length of its snapped winning streak was 5 or more. Now each row in this table corresponds to a range of odds. So for example, if we look here, the money line on Team A was between -175 and -150 in American format. And in brackets, I'm showing you the corresponding decimal odds. which are 1.5714 and 1.667. So within this range, we won 30 bets and we lost 32 bets for an overall profit of $10.99. Be very careful here. If you look at the title of the first two columns, it says Moneyline on Team A, and recall that we are fading Team A. So those are not the odds that we are betting on, they are the odds on Team A. In other words, in this specific row that I'm talking to you about, we are not betting on a favorite, we are betting on the underdog, which is why we made a profit even though we lost more bets than we won. Okay, so let's now focus on the last column, the profit numbers. So overall, we made $18.50. But you might have noticed that we made a good chunk of that money here, when the money line on Team A was between -175 and -125. So we made money within this interval, but we lost money outside of this interval. Well, I would never recommend a strategy that says, well, do this, but only if the money line is between -175 and -125. It just seems pretty random. So I prefer to observe a profit either on favorites or underdogs, but not in between. It just seems random. So all in all, I would say that there's no interesting pattern or conclusion to be drawn from this table, and I think the money line should not impact your decision to bet or not with respect to strategy number 1. Let's move on to the odds split for the second strategy, which says to fade Team A if the length of its snap winning streak was 5 or more, and Team A must be on the road. Okay, look at the last column once again. So what are the odds ranges where we lost money? There are not many of them. There are 3 here and this one. But notice how the losses were very minimal. So overall, I would personally argue that the system worked pretty well across the board. It worked pretty well no matter what the odds were. This is it. This is the final validation step before I either accept or reject a prospective betting strategy. So first, let's look at strategy number 1's performance across the seasons. Well, I certainly do not like what I'm seeing here. 3 winning seasons versus 4 losing ones. Therefore, I cannot recommend this strategy. And that's especially true considering what we saw earlier with the odds split. I did not like the fact that we made money within a very tight window of odds. Let's now investigate the second strategy's performance on a season-by-season basis. Well, look at the last column. That's much better. The method's consistency is good, as shown by the 5 winning seasons versus only 2 losing ones. And out of the 2 years where we lost money, well, one of them ended close to profitability, a $1.94 loss, while 2012 took a good blow to our bankroll. But still, those findings are reassuring, and yes, I do recommend this system for the future. Congratulations to you! Good job for watching this whole video. And we worked hard, and our efforts were rewarded as we came out with a very promising strategy. I believe it has a good outlook for the future, especially considering it fits with my original intuition. I mean, when I come up with a betting strategy that goes against what I thought was true, I don't feel so good about it. But that's not the case here. So first, let's recap what it is. So we are fading a team whose winning streak of length 5+ was just snapped in their previous game. And we bet only if that team is on the road. So we are taking the home team. Alright, so a team wins at least 5 straight games, then they lose, and in the next game we are betting that they are going to lose again, and we do it only if that team is on the road. Alright, so doing this over on my data set that covers the 2010 to 2016 seasons, we would have made $22.06 from placing $1 bets. And we would have placed 281 bets in that 7-year span. So the return on investment turns out to be close to 8%, which is great for such a big sample size. So what's the expected profit that you can hope to get per season? Well, we won $22 over 7 seasons. So divide 22 by 7 and you get approximately 3.15 units. So if your average bet is $100, that means you can expect a profit of $315 per season. Now I'm sure that none of you is right now jumping on its bed and screaming, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get rich with this strategy." Well, no, you're not. That's why you need to play many such angles to make a significant impact on your bankroll. And in this regard, I'm here to help you.
Congratulations for watching this video that unveiled a nice betting strategy based on the snapped winning streak angle. Check out my other videos because I've got at least 10 other winning systems in baseball that will make you richer. I've also posted a video about my largest sports bet ever on the NFL future bet. Check it out to find out how much I've wagered and what I'm betting on, because you might want to do the same. Alright, so I'll talk to you again very soon. This is Professor MJ from Quebec City in Canada. See you guys!